if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll know that one of the main things that I do here is upload the replays of my live streams. It's a big part of the channel. I archive all of my streams that are done over on the other channel. The link is in the description box below, by the way. But I like to do full-length playthroughs of games, ones that I am either returning to for the first time in many years or ones that I've never played before. And I like to do one-offs of stuff that I just kind of want to try. But one of the things that I really like to do is entire series playthroughs. And I've done a couple of them to date. And that's what I'm going to announce right here in this video. What's up, Grim Crew? I am D. I am the Grim Gamer. And as I said, I am here to announce what my next series playthrough is going to be. I'm not going to say full series playthrough for this one because there are going to be a couple of exceptions. There are a couple of games that are going to be excluded from this for reasons that I will touch on here in just a few minutes. But I'm very excited for this one. And this one is going to be my biggest and longest series playthrough to date, and possibly that I ever do. Up to this point, I've done several smaller series. For instance, I've done The Last of Us, that's only 2 games. I did Mirror's Edge, that was 2 games. And then I've done Blood Rain, which was 3 games. But then I've done a couple longer ones. I did Resistance, which was 5 games. And then the longest one that I've done, and what was the most fun for me, was my favorite series of all time, which was Uncharted. That was 6 games. Well, this one is going to span 10 games amongst 6 different consoles for one epic adventure. And I know that you just want me to tell you what ones that I'm talking about. My next series playthrough, and again, I'm going to go over each release I'm going to go over and that I'm going to play, and which consoles I'm going to be doing them in. And again, you can view all of this in real time on the streams. I stream every Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday nights, 11:30 p.m. Eastern Start Time. There's a link in the description. Give me a follow, and you'll be able to follow along for this whole full series playthrough. So the next series that I plan to do is Metal Gear Solid. Now, I'm not a stranger to Metal Gear Solid. I have played the original Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation 1. That entire playthrough is viewable here on the channel. You can watch that if you'd like. There's a playlist for it. And also, my brother, goes by Suave Beardson, he recently played a couple of these a year or 2 ago, and he's been playing them ever since we were kids. So I'm familiar with a lot of the characters. I'm familiar with some of the stories from several of the releases, but I've never played all of them myself. And you know it's different playing it yourself than it is watching somebody else do it. You'll be able to pick up on small little details that maybe you weren't paying attention to, or you just missed because you're focused and you're right into it, and you got to pay attention to these things. So I'm hoping to pick up on some things that I don't know. And there are a couple releases in here that I have never seen anything from. So a couple of these are going to be a brand new experience for me all the way around. So now I'm going to go over which titles I'm actually going to play and what console I'm going to be playing them on. And I'm also going to be doing this in chronological order. Now, I know that there's a debate out there amongst not only Metal Gear fans, but fans of series of games in general, whether you should play them in chronological order or release order. Me personally, when it comes to which order to experience something in, I prefer chronological order. It's easier for me to keep the details together, and I like seeing a story play out as it's supposed to, in the correct way that the events actually happen. And it doesn't matter if that's just movies or if that's television or games or whatever. If, for instance, just an example, when I watch Spartacus, which is one of my favorite shows, I watch Season 2 first because that's a prequel to the first. So I will watch 2, 1, 3, 4 because that's the order in which the events actually happen. It just makes more sense to me in my mind. So that's how we're going to be doing this playthrough. So again, 10 different games among 6 different consoles. We're going to start off with the first one in the chronological timeline, and we're going to be doing the remaster. This is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater on the PlayStation 5, the, I guess we can say, newest release, just released a couple of months ago. This one I'm really looking forward to playing. This one I have seen my brother play the original release on the PS2 and like HD releases and stuff like that. I'm really looking forward to playing this, and I'm excited that this is going to be the first one that I'm going to experience as far as the chronological timeline is concerned. So first up, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater on the PS5, and next, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be going a little bit old school for this next one. And this is another thing that I'm going to find somewhat fascinating about this, because we're starting off chronologically the oldest part of the timeline with one of the newest releases. I like the newest release in the series, this remaster of a different game. But then when we go next in the timeline, we're going to be going backwards as far as the hardware that I'm going to be using. Now, this next one I did include because this one sounds like it's also it's divided amongst the fans whether it's canon or not. But I have read things about like certain events or certain things in this game are canon while some others are not. So even if there's a little bit of things that are canon in this next game for the overall story, because that's what I'm after. I want the entire story. So even if there's a little bit in this that is canon to the story, then I want to play it. And we're going to be going to a handheld, the PSP for this one. I'm going to be playing Metal Gear Solid Portable Ops. I don't have any other console way to play this, so I have the correct cords and everything to hook it up to my entire rig to be able to stream from the PSP itself. So that in itself is going to be interesting, going from a PS5 release to then on a handheld for the next one in the timeline. This one I know nothing about. This one I've never seen anything from. All of this is going to be completely new to me. So I'm interested and excited to get to this, and I'm going to be experiencing it on its original hardware when I play it. So looking forward to that one. Should be a lot of fun. From there would technically be another PSP game as far as the timeline goes, but I don't have this one on the PSP, at least not yet. And I don't think I'm going to be able to get my hands on it before I get to it in this series playthrough. But I'm going to be going to the PS3 for this one, and I'm going to be going to the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, and the next one in the timeline is going to be Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker. It's the HD version, console version for Peace Walker. So realistically, after playing through an entire PSP game, going to do another one on the handheld, I don't know. That might be a little too much handheld, at least for streaming purposes, back to back. So it's fine. Even if I had the Peace Walker version, since I have a way to play Peace Walker on a different console, it's probably the preferred way. I'm going to want to play it anyways. So the third game in the series, we're going to go to this collection on the PS3. Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker would be next. Next up after that, we're going to move over to the PlayStation 4 for Metal Gear Solid 5 Ground Zeroes. And I am counting this as one of the 10 games. And I'm doing that because this was released first as its own separate standalone release. Now I know that I can get like both games together these days, but when I was searching for them, I couldn't find that particular version of it anywhere. In all the places that I go, all the retro game hunting I did, all the different places that I went, I couldn't find that like definitive edition. So I got them separate. And again, since this one was released separately from the next one, I'm considering this as one of my 10 games in the series. But this one, apparently very short, just kind of like an introductory, but that's fine. Not a big deal to me as long as it's good. This one I've seen nothing from. I know nothing about it. I don't know what the story is in it. So I am interested to see what happens in this that leads up to the events of the Phantom Pain. So that will be the next one on the list after Peace Walker. And of course, so then after Ground Zeroes, then we've got Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain on the PlayStation 4. And this one, I gotta be honest, I'm not overly excited to get into this one because I have seen some from this, and what I have seen does not say Metal Gear to me. Not even close. And from what I understand, it can get quite lengthy. And for it to not be what I would consider being Metal Gear, or Metal Gear that I know and have seen, a completely different thing, and the length of it, I'm not overly excited to get to this one, but once again, I'm doing this to get the entire story, and so in order to do that, we got to play this one. I don't know, once I get into it, it might surprise me, but this may be one of the ones that I'm looking forward to the least, let me put it that way, but we will have that one. That will round out the first 5, and that rounds out the big boss saga of this, because instead of calling this a full series playthrough, this is the Big Boss / Solid Snake saga. So, by the time I get through the Phantom Pain, I may have a short break. It'd be 5 Metal Gears in a row. I may be a little Metal Geared out. So in order to try to avoid burnout, I may do a couple other games or something in between, take a break after a while, and then we'll come back to it. When I come back to it, well, then we're going to be going really old school. We'll be going back to the PlayStation 3, and we'll be going back to the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, because I will then be playing Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake. The first 2 chapters of Solid Snake's saga, and those will be coming from this particular version right here. Those 2 games also not extremely excited to get to. I've watched my brother do a playthrough of the first Metal Gear, but I've seen nothing from Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake, so that one will be a completely brand new experience for me too. But again, story and characters is what's most important to me in my games. I'm doing this for the story, and I need to play those in order to get the story. I don't know if I'll ever do all of this again, but I'm at least going to do it one time and go through all of these. So for this, on the PS3, Metal Gear and Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake will be going and using this on the PS3 for those 2 chapters. Now, as I said, I have played Metal Gear Solid on the original PlayStation. It's the only one that I've ever played, personally, myself. And I didn't want to exclude it for this series playthrough, because it's a vital chapter in the series, and from anything else that I've seen, and maybe it is just because I've personally played it, I absolutely love Metal Gear Solid on the original PlayStation. But since I have already done a full playthrough of that, again, it's here on the channel, you can watch that if you'd like, I didn't necessarily want to do it again, but I didn't want to exclude it. So we will be going back to Shadow Moses Island, but we'll be doing it on the GameCube, and we'll be playing the Twin Snakes version of Metal Gear Solid. Now, this is one that I've seen some of, maybe a full playthrough from my brother several years back. I don't remember right offhand now, and I think I might have even watched him do... Actually, I watched him do some speed runs and stuff of this, but like a lot of the cutscenes and a lot of that kind of stuff I haven't seen in a very, very long time. And I know from what I've seen online, the fans are divided amongst this version of Metal Gear Solid, but for the sake of this playthrough, wanting to include this chapter of the story in this full series playthrough, but doing it on a version that I've never played before, I'm very much looking forward to. I really, really can't wait to be able to get to this game and dig out the GameCube and play some Metal Gear Solid, the Twin Snakes. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. From there, we're going to go completely out of the realm of PlayStation for this next one, and I went completely out of left field with this, and so for the next chapter of the series, we're going to be doing Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance, but we're going to be doing it on the original Xbox, and I'm not sure why. I thought and felt the need to pick up this version of it, other than the fact that once I got an Xbox, I wanted to collect some games for it, and this version of Substance is quite a bit cheaper than the PlayStation 2 version. This is missing the like skateboarding, but that's probably a mode that I would never have played anyway, so I don't really care. It'll be interesting to go from all of this on Sony consoles to then go to this chapter of the story on the Xbox. I'm interested and curious to see how a Metal Gear will feel and play on the original Xbox, but so yeah, when we get to Metal Gear Solid 2, we'll be doing the Substance version on the original Xbox, and I'm kind of excited for it. I'm not really excited to listen to Raiden's whiny self, but either way, that's how we're going to be going through Metal Gear Solid 2. And then to wrap things all up with the final chapter of the series and in chronological order, we go back to the Metal Gear Solid Legacy Collection, because that's how we're going to be playing Metal Gear Solid 4, Guns of the Patriots. So that's how we're going to wrap this thing up on the PlayStation 3. Now, as you would have noticed, I'm not including like the Game Boy game. I'm not including Rising. I'm not including the Acid games. I'm sure there's a couple other ones that I'm missing or that I'm forgetting about. But the Acid games, like as far as I'm aware, some kind of like card-based games, and I am not interested. I don't care, and apparently doesn't really add anything to the overall story. The Game Boy game is very expensive, and I don't have it, and also apparently doesn't really add anything to the overall story arc. And Rising, again, I don't like Raiden. I personally don't like Raiden as a character. I've seen and heard his whiny self a few times, and I'm not a fan of his. And from what I have seen, what I have read, what I have heard, it takes place obviously after all of these games I'm going to play, and it sounds like with Metal Gear Solid 4, the story kind of ends. You know, everything is told by that point, and there's nothing else to do. Now, there's something to be said about, okay, well, you know, when you bring down one evil superpower, another will just rise to take its place. So it's not that you couldn't continue things in this world, in this storyline or anything like that, but the main story that I want here is Big Boss and Solid Snake and Raiden. I don't care. So I will be completely ignoring that one. After Metal Gear Solid 4, that's it. But still, that is 10 games, 6 consoles, one epic story, and I am super psyched for it. If you want to join me on this adventure, on this ride, then I urge you to click the link in the description box below for my Twitch account. And give me a follow there, and I'm going to be going through all of these, and many of them seeing things for the very first time, and I would love to have you there. You can chat with me, and we can have a good time with this Metal Gear Solid journey. So with that being said, that's it. I am excited. I am looking forward to this, and I hope you are too, and I hope to see you there for the streams. So until then, if you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already so you don't miss out on any other announcements like this, or the live stream replays, or the retro game hunting, or retro game unboxings, or the top 5 countdowns, or just whatever it is that I decide to do here on the channel. So until we get to sneaking around and try to destroy some Metal Gears, I am D, I am the Grim Gamer, and I will catch y'all next time.